order to get organization to see learning differently, we are the first one who have to change. This is my big idea on the whole. We should not be, here is my curriculum of course, you know, super standardized menus, like, you know, Franklin Covey, everyone who is outside, right? I'm sure all of you are using those, right? But be more of an advisor, more of a consultant, more of a challenger as well, and have courage to do that. And then to inspire and lead the organization towards creating that learning culture. And I think this is a completely different role that we are expected to play in the organization. So I will talk a little bit more now in this second half of what we have done at P&G. What we have understood is that in order to bring the learning culture, the biggest answer, as you know, is not going to be training. Then I started approaching things a little bit differently. I said, okay, but what about performance management, right? What about the environment? And somehow that was also a little bit on my plate because I was the one who was supposed to educate others on how to do performance management. And when I say that, I don't mean only action plan, but I also mean career conversations and development plans. And once I put effort into driving that as an initiative, that yielded much better results than putting equal or even like more triple effort and money into driving the courses. So my big learning there was like, I have to address it I have to ask the right questions and I have to address it from other sides. Oh, this slide, I don't know if you are able to see, but this is the role that we used to play. So we were the learning police. We were the ones who were like, are you sure you want to do this training? Is this approved by me? Is it globally standardized? No, you cannot do half-day version of this. So we've stopped doing that. We also stopped pushing the content, where we are investing time now, and we are investing disproportionate time is into enabling people to do personal development plans, and through their managers. These are some of the emerging L&D skills that I understand. I don't know if you see this, a squirrel with a Superman uniform, but this is really, honestly, sometimes I feel like that as a foreigner, as a woman, talking to all the big senior guys. And these are some of the questions that I understood that I need to answer. For me, understanding who the learner is and having the courage to challenge the current thinking is something that helped me a lot. So this is my last slide on some of the things that have inspired me. The whole concept of performance consulting is a concept of Dr. Roy Pollock's 6D theory, so I completely recommend that. Here is a great book which talks about learning from the social field and learning from the future as opposed to learning from the past, which I find very powerful insight. And finally, Einstein there says that you cannot solve the problem with the same mindset that created those problems. So now the question is, if we want to change the organization, what do we have to do differently?
We have two types of knowledge. The knowledge that we can articulate, which we call as explicit, and the knowledge that we cannot articulate, which we call as tacit. Maruti, if we take Maruti, we have a lot of expert assemblers who can assemble the cars quite well, but several of them do not know to drive one. The reason being that assembling a car is an explicit knowledge. You can write an SOP, call an apprentice and then show him this is how you do it, and then he can assemble it. But driving is not like that. If you look at an organization context, the research shows that 80% of the knowledge is tacit. For example, look at those examples, the strategic planning, decision making, problem solving, forecasting. The actual key, the key to the transfer of tacit knowledge remains in the pedagogy, not in the content. And the transfer takes place in 4 stages. The first one is active observation, the second one is assisted practice, and the third one is do it yourself, and the fourth one is deliberate practice. Okay? I'm going to tell you as to how we have integrated these 4 steps into the pedagogical design of the work integrated learning programs that we offer to our students. The first one that we are seeing there is active observation, and the pedagogical tool that we use for that is what we call as a video case. A video case is something which is a collection of a set of videos about an organization, about a business scenario and things like that. Then second one is what is the guided practice. Guided practice is what we call as a work integrated learning exercise. These are all very structured exercises that we give to the students. They have to carry it back to their workplace, implement it and then see what happens. The next one is our super focus area, the simulation. Okay, why do we need simulation? The reason being that ideally speaking, a work integration means that my students have to go back to their workplace and then try out something and then see what happens. But you know that this is not possible. If you are actually learning to ride a bicycle, then you can fall a couple of times and then learn. But what if you are trying to do a surgery? What if you are trying to fly an airplane? Failure is not an option. And simulation is something which comes very handy, and also it helps to look into things that cannot be seen in an actual environment. So what they do is like they continuously work to develop various exercises, tutorials and things like that and help the students to perform it. The next one, the most important one which all of us have been talking about, the gamification. Context is very, very powerful compared to our intellect, knowledge, even value systems. When you are into a context, even your values fail because contexts are so powerful. So what we need to do is that we need a pedagogical tool which is going to decontextualize, if there is a word like that, decontextualize the learning. So when you go back to that, you should be seeing different things, and the gamification is one such tool wherein it is just going to be different.